state judo champion, a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan, West Mission. Captain of the judo team, 2023 Collegiate Judo All-American, graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, newly commissioned ensign, future naval aviator. Sorry, Zach, it's hard to read your writing. Did I miss anything? Mahina and Zack were in a long-distance relationship for 2 years. She doesn't know Zack like I do. You may think he's awesome, but I know the real Zack. I know what he's really like. Let me tell you, he's not that awesome. If the jokes are funny, they're mine. If they're not, they're my mom's. Friends and friendships. It's amazing to see the culture hall filled with Zack's friends. Some friends live nearby, like Joe Fung, who is just around the corner. Some of you have traveled very far distances. We didn't know Zack had so many friends. You see, when Zack was younger, his friends had googly eyes, changed colors, and ate insects. I want to tell you about Zack's closest friend, his groomsmen. In our tradition, when your name is read, please stand and remain standing until the roast is completed. Trent Moyer. Trent Moyer is the best man. Trent and Zack were best friends at the academy. They have a lot in common. Trent is from small town Georgia. Zack is from small town Iowa. Both served missions in foreign countries. Both spent a semester abroad at a foreign naval academy. They were both roommates for 2 years. On the morning of induction day, they looked like this when they checked in at Alumni Hall to begin their training at the academy. At the end of the day, they looked like this. Over the years, they have done a lot together. They've crawled under things, they've jumped over things, carried heavy things, played in the snow, traveled the East Coast, went to formal events together without dates, got bad haircuts, and when Trent got engaged, but that didn't stop Zack. He believes that three's company. He had no problem as the third wheel. Sometimes he even got Trent to pay for it. It's a good thing that both are married now. Let's give an applause to Trent Moyer. Joseph Fong. Zack and Joe met in 6th grade at the University Lab School. They soon became best friends in high school. They competed on the wrestling and judo teams. They captained the wrestling team as seniors. They dyed their hair for state championships and went to school dances together. I think that Zack wanted to be like Joe. Joe had a driver's license and all the girls liked him. And Zack, well, he didn't have that. During the years at ULS, they developed a strange bromance. I say bromance because that's the only explanation for this. Well, and now, let's give an applause for Joe, I guess. Yeah. Akui Cha. Akui and Zack were teammates on the cross-country team. Akui ran cross-country to compete. Zack ran cross-country to wear the racing outfit. He wore the tank top to show off his arms and the short shorts to show off. Never mind. Akui is very kind and generous. Last Christmas morning, he came to our home. He brought really nice gifts for each of us. For example, he found a vintage Naval Academy windbreaker from the 1960s for Zack. I couldn't believe how thoughtful he was. I turned to Zack and asked, "Where's my gift from you?" "Zack, I'm still waiting for my present." Let's give an applause for our Puig talk. Sam Bell, that is me. When Zack was 11 years old, our parents gave him the best gift ever. Me. Sometimes I hate compared to Zack. That's not a fair comparison. For Zack, you see, I have better hair, a better tan, and I am much better looking. In all seriousness, Zack has taught me several important life lessons. First, how to flex in the mirror. Second, how to spit from a moving car and not get anything on me or the car. And third, the right words to say to make mom really, really mad. The real Zack. I'm going to tell you about the real Zack. An officer and gentleman. Okay. Don't be fooled by his white uniform. Zack may be an officer now, but I'm not sure if he's a gentleman. When we dropped him off at Annapolis, Mom and Dad had such high hopes that Zack would change. For example, he would clean up after himself, he would learn table manners and etiquette, he would improve his communication skills. Yes, Zack has learned a few things during his 4 years at the academy, but I think he faked his way through. Alpha inspection. At the academy, he had to keep a neat room and pass regular room inspections, called alpha inspections. He was taught to sweep, mop, and polish the floor, fold his clothes, hang his uniforms, and polish his shoes. He learned how to make his bed with the sheets pulled tight and covers turned back. We know this was all pretend and make-believe. Yes, he made his bed at the academy, but did you know that he slept under the covers only once during his 4 years? And this was on his last night. Do you know why? So that he didn't have to make his bed each morning. Zack has been home the last week. His clothes are on the floor, his bed is unmade, and his laundry is piled high. Etiquette. The academy tried to teach him table manners and etiquette. He learned to sit up straight at the table, bring his fork to his mouth with food in small bite-sized morsels, and carry an engaging social conversation. Again, this is all make-believe. Anyone who has seen Zack eat without that white uniform knows that his face is in the plate and he shovels the food by the mouthful. And there's never any conversation other than, "Are you going to eat that?" Zack had no mercy on me and my sister at dinner time. We had to pray with one eye open because his fork always wandered onto our plates. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Zack isn't even interested in clean clothes. At the academy, Zack wore a uniform every day to class. Usually he wore his black uniform. Did you know that he wore the same uniform shirt every day to school his last semester without washing it? And this is with free laundry. Good luck with that, Mahina. The artist. Zack is a Renaissance man. At the academy, he studied math and science and eventually graduated with a degree in operations research. A man of letters, he published an article about landing systems on an aircraft carrier. He's also a world traveler. He flexed his French while spending a semester at the French Naval Academy, where he reported home on the food, culture, and travel. But did you know that Zack is also an artist? In high school, Zack created an award-winning sculpture entitled Growth. The sculpture, which depicts an unfurling fern, won a gold medal at the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. This sculpture was displayed at a national exhibition in Washington, D.C. The judges must not have looked close enough at the sculpture. If they had, they would have noticed Zack's face emerging from the sculpture. After the exhibition, the sculpture was shipped off. Mom displayed it for a while until we realized it was scaring visitors like an evil police. So Mom bossed it up. Zack, guess what you and Mahina are getting for a wedding gift? The Naval Aviator. On June 3rd, Zack is ordered to report to Pensacola, Florida, to begin his training as a pilot. Naval aviator. The Navy must have really low standards. It's hard to believe that the U.S. government is going to trust Zack with flying a multi-million-dollar aircraft. Did you know that Zack didn't have a driver's license in high school? He didn't have a driver's license when he went to the academy. He didn't have a license when he left on his mission. He couldn't get his license when he returned from his mission because of COVID. Did you know that he got his license the day of his first date with Mahina? Talking about pressure! On the night of the first date, my parents told us kids we had to pray for Zack. My mom prayed that he would embarrass himself. My dad prayed that he wouldn't wreck the car. And here we are, 2.5 years later, my family believes in prayer. Call sign. Anybody who has watched Top Gun knows that Navy pilots have nicknames known as call signs. These nicknames often refer to physical characteristics or personality qualities of the pilot. The pilot doesn't pick his name, rather it's given to him. I've thought about call signs for Zack. Here are the top 3. Number 3, Hanaboda, because Zack is always blowing his nose. Number 2, crumbs, because that's what he leaves behind when he eats. And number 1, Chocho Pocho, because he lives one. I'm going to expect a sign-off now. I started my speech with a list of Zack's accomplishments. His most impressive accomplishment is that he found a girl who loves and accepts him for who he is. Chocho lips and photoshopped arms and all. I mean, come on, Zack's arms aren't that big. Mahina, my parents are happy that you're taking Zack off their hands. My family and I only have 2 words of advice to you. No backs. And to you, Zack, we only have 4 words of advice. Don't screw this up. Thank you.
I'm on firepower there, so thanks Sam. No, but Zack and I, we go back all the way to the first day of Plebe Summer at the Naval Academy. So we had the blessing to be put together in the same company from the very start. We slightly resembled Aang from the Last Airbender, the Avatar Last Airbender. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. And then I had the birth control goggles on. So I wear glasses and contacts. We're not allowed to wear contacts during Plebe Summer. So thankfully in the picture that was up on the screen, I didn't have my birth control goggles on. But during Plebe Summer, they give us glasses that make us look very attractive. And that's why they're called birth control goggles. So Zack and I, we became friends despite our not so good looks at the very beginning of Plebe Summer. But I have a lot of very good memories with Zack from the very beginning. We had the blessing of being roommates after Plebe Summer, and we had a very awesome third roommate. But something that really always stuck out to me is at the end of the day, after all the workouts and the school and homework, Zack and I would always make time to do like 5 minutes of scripture study before we go to bed. We would both look at each other like scripture study. So that was something that really always stood out to me, is that Zack had that commitment to the Lord to always fit that in. Even if during plebe year it was so hectic that sometimes it wasn't until the very end of the day. We were like basically going to sleep as we did it. And then anyone who knows Zack and me well from the Naval Academy knows that you won't see Zack without seeing me, and vice versa. We were always joined at the hip. Even so much as we went on our missions at the same time. Even though we were separated by a whole ocean, we always stayed in contact on P-Day. And then when we came back, even the Naval Academy knew that we were meant to be together, and they put us together again in the same company, and we were roommates again our sophomore year. They finally managed to split us up our junior year, but we decided we'd both go abroad anyway. So when Zack went to the French Naval Academy first semester, I went to the Portuguese Naval Academy first semester. So we continued to have shared experiences throughout our time. Also, we started our relationships around the same time, sophomore year. I started dating Haisa, my wife now, around July of 2020. And then Zack, in the fall, prior to going home for Christmas break, started showing me Mahina's Facebook. And he was like, I don't know, there's this girl that my cousins know, and I'm thinking about sliding into her DMs. What do you think? So I got the inside information right away. And it looks like it worked out pretty well. So I told him to go for it. It turned out really well. And then Zack has also been the proverbial, as Haisa would say, candle holder. So in Portuguese, instead of saying third wheel, they say candle holder for the person who's third wheeling because they just hold the candle during the date. So if you ever want to call Zack something other than a third wheel, you call him a candle holder. Yeah, Zack has taught me a lot of valuable things. He's taught me patience, as he constantly loses his wallet every time we're trying to make it back in time for End of Liberty. But he's also taught me to enjoy life and more patience as he stopped. So a lot of times as we walk through the hallway and we see our friends and stuff like that, usually I'm the kind of person just like, hey, how's it going? I just keep walking. But Zack would always stop for 5, 10, an hour, 2 hours to talk to people in the hallway. So he taught me to really slow down and enjoy life. Or sometimes I would just keep walking and say I'd talk to him later. But he's taught me a lot of valuable things. Most of all, he's been my brother at the Naval Academy. He's been my best friend. We've had so many great experiences together. He's just been the best friend that I could ask for. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to get to know him so well. And also getting to know Mahina along with him. It's really been a blessing. And I love you both very much. Thank you.
Just gonna hold it. Hello, everyone. I have so many great things to say about Mahina and Zack and their relationship. But first, let me start with Hina and me and our relationship because that started first. First off, Mahina, have you ever seen a more beautiful bride? Like for real. You haven't, and I'm not just saying that because we look alike. My whole life, people have asked if we are twins. And on top of that, my parents had the grand idea to give us names that are only 2 letters off. I copy her every move, and she knows it, and I know she hates it sometimes. But the truth is, I want to be exactly like Mahina when I grow up. Every day of my life, I always... when we were younger, she would always speak and answer for me, but now that we're grown, I'm the sassy one that won't shut up. And mad props to her for dealing with me. This one time when I cut my finger in the kitchen and let the open wound just run under the water because I can't stand the sight of blood, she ran to the kitchen and grabbed a towel and applied pressure and just saved my finger until I could go to the ER. When Mahina drives somewhere that we've been a million times, it doesn't remember how to get there. I sit in the passenger seat equally as lost, and we go on a fun adventure. When I'm singing in the shower, I hear her walk past the door and harmonize perfectly. No other voice in this world harmonizes with me as perfectly as Mahina's. When I've had random breakdowns, she has listened, hugged me, and given me the best pep talks known to mankind. From Mahina, I feel truly seen and known. In those moments, I genuinely feel like Christ himself is speaking to me through my sister. I'm honored to be not only your maid of honor, but also your sister, best friend, favorite sibling, role model, everything you aspire to be, and the list just goes on. Zack and Mahina met and started dating right when I left on my mission. He had followed me on Instagram because she didn't have one yet, and then continued to work through he and Jenna to get to Mahina. It is honestly so amazing to watch the person you love the most find someone who completes them and makes them their happiest. They are both a match made in heaven. They have the cutest FaceTime dates of ordering food and telling dad jokes. No matter how tired Zack is, and I hear he falls asleep very quickly, he calls Hina every night before he falls asleep, and she often sings him a song over the phone, which is the cutest thing to witness. They are strong, extremely hard workers, and incredibly faithful. Zack and Mahina make each other better people. Many nights a week, and I'm now her roommate again in college, so many nights a week after hanging up the phone, she turns to me and says, Anna, I really love that boy, and I can see it in her eyes that she truly, truly means it. I cannot wait for you two to finally spend more than 2 weeks together in person. To Zack, I am very happy to get a new brother. You must know you will be the favorite brother. You already are. Zack is very talented and has goals aligned surprisingly well with Mahina's. His love for his now wife, family, and his heavenly Father are evident in his countenance. Thank you for making Mahina like this. I obviously have incredibly high standards for my sister and know she deserves nothing but the best of the best. But I honestly cannot think of anyone else in this world that I'd approve of other than Zack. You got a good one, the best creation by God's hand, which I think you know. And she's equally lucky to be with someone as understanding and selfless as you. I wish you both endless This Is Us days with cookies and pizza, lots of 3D printer trinkets, and wood carvings. I wish you an eternal relationship with strength and celestial joy, and so much happiness. I love you both.